Are we on?
Programming and KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
Hurricane Ida makes landfall. Cowboys are terrible. Astros blow it big time. All that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show. Whew. Time to go home.
Let's go over the ground rules. Rule number 1. No touching of the hair or face. Of course.
That's it.
And that's it. Now let's do this.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you today?
Excellent, excellent. It's a Monday.
It is a Monday.
It's kind of like in golf, you know. It's like when you make the turn. It's like a new 9. It's a new chance at excellence. What I've realized is,
How many chances did Bryson DeChambeau need yesterday to blow it?
wow. What I've realized, though, Ash, is that weekend golfers look for the second 9. And really good golfers look for the next hole. They'll have a blow-up hole, and then it's time to start anew. Great golfers look for the next shot. You know, Tiger Woods was notorious for saying, or not notorious, I guess, famous for saying, wherever it is, that's where you have to go play. And there's the challenge. If you're behind a tree, then if the only shot is back in the fairway, take it. If you've got something, you know, great to do, then do it. I'm the guy that'll hit it into the woods, and I can't figure out how I missed a huge fairway. And then I see a hole in a tree, and I'm like, if I can just hit it right through there.
And you'll try to do it.
Got to know your limitations. You've
Absolutely.
seen me try to do it. It's terrible. Folks, the Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at Deerland Feed. It's 77 degrees in Victoria, going to a high today of 96. Now, what kind of a weather rain chance do we have? Any? Slight. Prayers out to the folks in South Louisiana as they battle with what's left of Hurricane Ida.
Yeah, I don't know if Ida just sucked all the wind out of this region, but boy, last night was eerily still and quiet. I mean, about the only thing usually I can hear the coyotes, I can hear cows.
You could hardly hear the gunfire.
Could hardly hear anything.
Right.
And then this morning as well, very, very calm and no wind. Prayers and thoughts out to the folks in Louisiana. So far, the death toll has been just one, from what I understand. Somebody outside of suburb of Baton Rouge had a tree fall on them, and
COVID
that's the only one
suspended.
so far.
Nobody's died of COVID in Louisiana during this time. They just suspended those deaths.
But I mean, the entire city of New Orleans without power, transmission lines into the Mississippi. And the Mississippi apparently was flowing backwards as the storm surge pushed through. But
dogs and cats playing together, it's anarchy. Here's my question for you. So this is me taking the other side of the story.
Too soon?
Maybe too soon. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter when we spend money by the trillions, but how many tens of billions as an American do you want to keep putting into New Orleans? You know, a house that shouldn't have been there, washed away during Katrina, and FEMA rebuilt it, made it a little nicer, brought it up to code. And now it's going to wash away again because every time somebody flushes a toilet in New Orleans, it floods. Do we want to really go put another $100 billion back into New Orleans? Why can't New Orleans be like Port Connor, where you go for the weekend, but nobody lives there? Why does it have to be that?
Somebody would have to live there if people are going to go for the weekend.
I just don't understand why it has to be. I mean, there ought to be a way to say the insurance industry has basically said, you clowns are on your own. You're on the government. Why do we keep rebuilding New Orleans? There was talk of it last time. I'm not like some kind of hater. When the levees failed last time, people said, do we really want to spend the money to rebuild this place? all the best and brightest from that area came to Houston, you'll recall, and destroyed what was left of the Astrodome. Brilliant group of people. So lucky to have them here still unemployed, laying around.
Crime increasing.
Crime increased. Why don't we just send those people to Alabama and move on? I don't know. I just,
I don't see any comments.
I don't
see
think
who's checking in this morning. Weird.
nobody
There
appears
it
to.
is.
There they are.
They
There's
were
our
there
friends.
a minute ago, but
I don't know. I'm not a hater. I like New Orleans.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
you
I
could
do
go
too. I
for
love
a
the city.
weekend or whatever, but I mean,
where are you going to put 1 million plus people?
I don't know. I mean, what we let 2 million a month in through our southern border. Let them just hook up with a Honduran and go north.
Well, do you really want the government intervening and saying no, you can't? But at the same time, the government intervenes every time they got to rebuild it.
No, they rebuild it every time with government money / our tax dollars. If it was your money, would you go right back? If I gave you the $1 million that your house was worth in New Orleans, would you go right back there and build it again?
Probably
knowing that there's no insurance. From now on, you're on your own. I mean, the land of the floating casket is not the place to build your homestead. Why don't you give us a quick update of who's in?
Scott Snow, good morning. Robin Moore Knipling, Marvin Mickish, Kendra Douglas, Tracy Price is in, David Glass, Rena Scherer, Amanda Smith King, Johnny Houghton, good morning. The Iceman is in. Iceman, thank you for all you did. I know you coordinated a lot of supplies and things heading to Louisiana ahead of the storm.
Yes.
Because their inept government couldn't manage to do some of that stuff.
Yeah,
we'll get into that more.
We will get into that.
But I mean, just some of the. I guess that's. Well, I'll finish roll call. Bobby Leister, good morning. Justin Glass. Leisterometer is at 1,003, holding steady. Clint Ives, good morning.
Commish, how are you?
Diana Hawes.
You know you're going to get an earful when Ash, a polished radio guy, goes in the middle of his talk. He's going, well, I want to go. You're going to get an earful of something in a minute.
Judge Posey.
Good morning, Judge.
Producer extraordinaire J. Mark Jameson is in. Carrie Bump. Good morning, Lisa Poole. Jeremy Pena, Richard King, Patrick Strauss, Karen Webb, John Price, Janelle Sarles, Scott Chomko,
Karen Lee Webb.
Robert Brown, good morning. BJ Nelson. Your mom's in.
Hello, Mother.
Chris Conrad, good morning. Joel Gomez. Vanessa DeDeer, Terry Murray, Matt Boucher.
What a great group of folks. seeing Rena Scherer real quick, by the way, and you too,
Jeff
sir.
Finley. Thanks
so many of you who reached out to our family over the weekend. We had a memorial service for Dad on Friday, and it was very nice. I was very proud of the result there, and so many of you sent kind words, and just thank you a lot. Dad would say, now move on, go back to work. But we, as a family, really appreciate it. It was nice. We had all the kids in, and which is a challenge. The logistics. Which, by the way, if we can pull all of our family in 1 week, why can't the mayor of New Orleans? Did you see what he said? Well, we didn't have time. Whatever. But was she always a she?
Yeah, I believe
I don't know her. But we didn't have time to get an emergency evacuation. You didn't have to tell me to emergency evacuate. Harvey's coming. Yeah. You watch the news. It's like, hey, gotta go. Going to San Antonio. What am I missing there, Ash?
With that?
Just with the leadership in New Orleans.
Friday, they were already saying we don't have time to tell people to evacuate. They couldn't get the contraflow going on the roads.
Do you even need the contraflow? The storm doesn't hit till Sunday. Get in the car and drive out of town. I mean, I'm not saying there wouldn't be a little traffic jam, but there's Interstate 10, people. Go to Houston.
And then not enough time. Then what's the purpose of the National Hurricane Center giving you 5-day warning cones, right?
It was in the Caribbean 5 days earlier.
I mean, we knew last week. I mean, I know it was uncertain, but people here were making plans.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's our leadership. That's we don't.
When the cone of uncertainty, when it was so uncertain, it was either Brownsville to Biloxi.
I like that term, the cone of uncertainty.
It kind of was.
I like that.
But how does your leadership from the governor to the mayor not be able to coordinate that and tell people to start leaving? 126 billion was the damage by Katrina.
This won't be as bad in New Orleans
on the day. I mean, to the day. 16 years, something like that?
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Well, it went through more like east of New Orleans and then up through like towards Baton Rouge. Is that?
I think just a little west of New Orleans.
Okay,
and then up, and then it's heading east. But
did they just get a lot of rain, or they get wind in New Orleans?
A lot of wind, a lot of rain, power. I mean, huge transmission tower into the Mississippi. So I mean, obviously the power is going to be an issue, but until they can get that out, I can't imagine. Well, I mean, a lot of cleanup, but that's impact.
Lots of fish
shipping. Yeah. But you would think if any city would have learned something after the huge tabletop drill that was Katrina, it would have been New Orleans and the state of Louisiana.
Robert Brown says they're saying it's worse than Katrina. Better reopen the Astrodome.
Damage-wise, it probably will be, and the flooding could possibly be worse because there were areas that flooded this time that I don't think flooded last time.
Are we going to blame the levees again?
I don't know. I haven't heard of them breaking yet or breaching, but you've got 1 million plus people without power, and they're saying I talked to a friend of mine who's an AD at a school there this morning, and they're saying weeks without power. I mean, we went 10 to 14 days in most of this area.
It was not good,
and it wasn't good. They're talking
things go wrong.
Several weeks into months. I mean, that's just you can't live without it.
If living is without you.
Yeah. But you just I went to bed with a heavy heart for those in New Orleans and southern Louisiana, and was ready to wake up to a death toll in the hundreds.
I was too.
And didn't.
You see it every time though, Ash. At some point you got to learn. I mean, you saw the deal. Oh, there's 2 adults and 3 kids in the attic. The water rose. They just climbed up the attic ladder. These are not intelligent people. I mean, you have to start to wonder, is there some social Darwinism? Is it only the strong survive? Do the dumb sometimes find a way to eliminate their genes from the pool?
Yeah, I had to stop. I mean, I was watching the Cajun Navy's feed on Facebook and the pleas for help because people were in attics, and I couldn't think of a worse place to go. I mean, the water's rising, and you're going into a place, unless your attic has windows that you could potentially crawl out of.
The roof is a really container type. Everybody knows you get on top of the roof.
Well, I mean, how do you get on top of your house? I mean, it's not that easy to do.
Ladder.
When the water's rising,
it's easier than drowning. Borrow your neighbor's ladder and get on the roof.
Most attics are pretty watertight and no windows.
That's right.
I mean, it's just, oh man.
Rena Shear says, "Happy birthday, Ryland." Correct. We don't do that here on the show, not even for family members, but Ryland does turn 9 today. We do report the news, the facts. Ryland is 9 today, and I would be inclined to say, "Happy birthday, buddy," but we don't do that here. So,
but
a happy birthday.
But Texans are going to go help people out who need the help.
We always do.
In spite of poor leadership from the government. And don't get me wrong, the government shouldn't be there to save your life. But they should have. It's apparent nothing was learned after Katrina.
Correct.
That they couldn't have anything in place and do things any better this time around. Because what has been the story? Well, we know the next Katrina is a matter of if, not when, or is it when, not if?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And we'll be better prepared the next time. It doesn't appear to be that way.
Well, you would think that there would be some basic fundamentals that you would pick up through the years. I mean, it happens every time.
Adam Sugar says you bust a hole in the decking and from the inside of an attic and you climb out through the hole onto the roof.
True. I mean, that's what a lot of folks would be able to do, but some maybe older folks can't do that. That's I don't know. I don't know. That's why you leave on Wednesday. You leave. You don't stay there. We're gonna ride it out here in the attic. No, maybe you're not. You might be treading water in the attic. It's hard for me to imagine there's a home there in the last 16 years that would have water that high. Did they go right back and just rebuild in the huge flood zones again?
Isn't the whole city a flood zone?
The whole city is a flood zone. Legit point. Yep. Solid points. Folks, if you have a problem on the roads, call Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen will pull you out of a ditch. Allen could go pull the roof off of your house. Allen could get his 75-ton crane and pull that tower out
I
of
saw a
Mississippi.
big truck running the roads on Saturday.
It's a big truck. I mean, it's like
truck.
an 18-wheeler type truck with a huge tow hook on the back. Beautiful. Moby Dick, big time tow truck. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. The VCS companies, AT&T, folks, let's highlight them today. What a great time to have FirstNet. If you're a responder and the system goes down, FirstNet is a guaranteed phone system for first responders. You don't lose your dedicated network, and we're not even jealous. We want you to have it to communicate during an emergency. The place to get it, the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer.
Right there on Kurt Boulevard.
Just inside the loop off of Main Street. Bobby Leon and his family waiting to serve you and your family.
Chesnick Furniture Company, 116 West Juan Lynn.
You just do better at Chesnick. Get down and help them celebrate 101 years, sneaking up on 102 years in downtown Victoria, 70 plus in their current location. Bobby Leon and his family will make sure you know Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Furniture, Tempur-Pedic bedding, regular bedding, other types of mattresses. They have all types of
accoutrement
to make your living room and house look fantastic. You buy it today, they'll deliver it today. You know, they could use that catch line. Chesnick saves you money, but they don't do that. They just say you just do better at Chesnick.
Veracruz reopens today after being closed for the weekend.
Lee and Ida have the Death of the Cowboys special today. Huge Cowboys fans, Lee and Ida. Huge, epic Cowboys fans. Cannot be happy today. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then, of course, AJ's detailing. We had a deal the other day that I had a big old dollop pie, if you will, of carne asada ended up all over the carpet in the back of Kendall's vehicle. And I took it straight to AJ. It was hilariously funny because you can imagine what carne asada looked like on the carpet. And as he was cleaning it up, we just missed the opportunity. He got it scooped up. I really wanted him to go like this and just kind of go, Labrador, I can get that off, no problem. Or is that French Poodle? I can get it.
Whatever
anyway,
it is.
Cleaned it up, folks. Had an extractor, had a steamer, an extractor. And the next thing you know, we had to clean most of the back because the whole thing looked brand new when he was done. The spot that he cleaned was the cleanest spot in the back.
So then you had to do the whole thing.
Had to do the whole thing. Fantastic. AJ's detailing. Check him out on Facebook. He's been swamped busy and actually said to tell you thanks, Ash. So
Janelle Searle says it's not easy to evacuate a city. It took us 4.5 hours to get from Corpus to Victoria. No, I understand some of those logistics, but
you can't evacuate if you don't leave.
Well, no. And I guess that's the frustration is here's a city that with the leadership of the state and the city, this is my frustration, just didn't seem to learn anything.
No. Well, this mayor might have been like 21 years old when that happened.
Maybe. But I pray that, I mean, there's going to be damage. Obviously, I just hope the death toll is minimal.
And then Scott Tonko says wind energy. Dawn showed me a deal the other day. T-Lat showed me where a windmill vane, one of the arms that you see, they're amazingly long.
Yeah.
Where one hit a train in Luling or got hit by a train in Luling. Just goes to show that
crossing one of the
apparently thought they could make it, and as it was going slow and the things came down, the train hit it.
Well, geez. That's just poor driving.
Right? Can't blame the train
No,
for
can't blame
that.
the
Train's
train.
going one direction at a high rate of speed with lots of weight.
Yeah, no, that's just bad driving. So, well, Sun's coming up in New Orleans. Saints have moved it to Dallas for training camp. I mean, is that the biggest thing to worry about?
Yeah. How about Dallas? Somebody, a professional team, needs to be in Dallas. I watched.
Yeah, with the Saints there, Dallas might have one winning team in town.
I watched part of that yesterday. Not much.
It was hard.
I'm not big on professional sports anymore, and although now the collegiate level is professional sports, but at least it's interesting. The Cowboys are not good, folks. We've gone between 9-8, 8-9. We're looking at 7-10 now, maybe 6-11.
Yeah,
like no kidding.
I mean, I know they didn't have Ezekiel. I know they didn't have Dak, but
was Ezekiel injured, or he just had to sit out?
I think they just sat him out just because last preseason game, but.
His body looks amazing. Ezekiel Elliott in the best shape of his life, according to him, came in at the same weight that he graduated from Ohio State, and really could have a lethal year.
They're going to need him to.
He's a great player
because unless Dak gets healthy, they don't have much in the way of a quarterback that can get the ball to their plethora of talented receivers to do something with the ball. So it's going to be Ezekiel to the left, Ezekiel to the right, Pollard for a change of pace, and that'll be all.
I can't even read these things. What did Jennifer Rayburn say?
She said, train going one direction. It's getting too mathy.
Right. What did Lisa Poole say? She thought she was funny. I see that.
How about Joey B checking his watch yesterday during the ceremony?
Oh,
did I miss that? I wasn't too concerned.
No, I pointed this out with Bill Posey. Joe Biden never ceases to disappoint, and I saw a deal yesterday, a video of him visiting with a representative from Israel who was just lauding the relationship between the United States and Israel. We could not be more proud of the relationship between the United States and Israel. And really, Joe Biden's head is down. His chin is on his tie knot, and his hands are crossed on his lap. And the only movement the man did for 45 seconds was move his right thumb. That's all he did. Tell me I'm wrong, Ash.
No.
That's all he did. The man was asleep, people. He was in a dementia doze. Well, he should have been looking that man in the eye. The man actually looked at the camera like, what are we doing here? The man's asleep. It is so embarrassing. I have to admit, it's, when Michelle Obama said, this is the first time I've ever been proud to be an American.
Yeah.
And there was a really dumb thing to say. I mean, why not be proud when the first black president's elected? It was your husband. You weren't proud of that? Idiot.
No.
She's an idiot. Well, when I see Joe Biden sitting in the highest office in the land, backed up by the complete ineptness of Kamala Harris, backed up by the complete just compromised integrity of Nancy Pelosi, I'm honestly, for the first time in my life, somewhat embarrassed to be an American. I'm very proud to be a Texan. Very proud to be a Texan.
I'm embarrassed by our leadership.
Terrible.
I wouldn't say I'm embarrassed to be an American, but boy,
well,
you're in charge of this country.
You're not embarrassed to be an American, because an embarrassed American's still better than being a Canadian. I know that. I'm just saying. You've been other places. You have perspective. Hello to all our friends in sunny Alberta, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Ash wearing the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, they lost last night. Good game, though. Lost to Winnipeg. Rene Paredes came up.
The Winnipeg Jets.
Paredes came up short on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Blue Bombers.
Came up short on a 52-yarder as time expired. That would have won it.
So now we need a kicker in Calgary?
No, he's pretty solid. That was his first miss all year.
What is it, game 2?
Game 4?
Oh, there you go.
I think we're 1-3
the Grey
now.
Cup just around the corner. Playoffs to start. Every team makes it. At least I knew it was the Grey Cup.
Michael Jolly says 80 million people silent about Biden.
80 million people voted for the guy. All of them apparently still thrilled with his effort.
Yeah.
Just thrilled.
Remember when they said if you were silent about Donald Trump, that meant you approved of him made you a silent racist, made you a silent misogynist, made you a silent whatever, right?
So does this make you a silent?
This makes you
idiot?
a silent all of that stuff
Incompetent?
as well, because Biden has proven time and again he's all of that.
If you voted for Joe Biden and you sit silently as our troops get killed, as our evacuation is mismanaged,
as inflation runs through the roof, as deficit spending goes berserk, as our budget quadruples, if not or doubles, triples, quadruples, whatever it is.
right? Then you are a silent dementia person like Joe.
And then trying to use that drone strike over the weekend that killed 2. And do we really care that this is ISIS-K? I mean, drop the K, folks. Who gives a crap? ISIS is ISIS. I don't care which way you slice, dice it, chop it.
I like that.
Shred it.
ISIS is ISIS no matter how you slices. I like that. That's got legs.
It does.
Was there a J? Was there an H and I?
I don't know. But does it really matter?
Wasn't ISIS G a hip hop artist?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say hi to Marty Stockbauer. She's listening, although it doesn't show up that she's listening.
And hi to my wife, Cheryl, because she's
Cheryl.
listening and doesn't show. But, I mean, Scott Tomko says ISIS Delta variant. I mean, does it really matter? I mean, we didn't slice and dice the Nazis into their little segments. Well, that's a brown shirt. That's a black shirt. That's SS. We didn't care. They were Nazis. Kill them all. Why do we care what? Well, this is ISIS light.
I don't get that.
I just don't get it. Does it really matter? These are people that want death to us.
But they seem friendly when they say it.
So we have to show them some sort of respect by identifying their variant? I just don't get it. What does it matter? Yeah. Is ISIS-L going to be ticked off or happy that we didn't refer to them? Well, it's ISIS-K getting credit for this killing, so hey, we're good over here.
So let me ask you this, just your knee-jerk reaction. And y'all, by the way, 575-9509, if you want to get it off your chest, if it'll help you to vent a little bit about ISIS or about the Taliban or whatever variant the Burkett ones are purporting at this point, feel free to give us a call. So, Ash, if the same situation came about, Donald Trump said he wanted a full retreat as well. And now people have said that, of course, and I'm not saying that Trump wouldn't have done exponentially better, but of course, people are saying, well, Trump wouldn't have done it this way. Well, duh. In hindsight, it's so easy to criticize. If the military were the last ones to leave, if we would have gotten all the people out first and all this, how would it be different when the suicide bombers show up? And what would Trump have done differently? Would he unleash jihad on these people? What would he do? Or would they not do it for fear that he would do it?
I think the fact that we hadn't had terror attacks, servicemen killed in Afghanistan in 18 months, the fact that there was peace in the Middle East and 3 peace accords.
Right. No.
Good morning, Wade and Carter.
Hello, caller. Yes. I think Ash and I have totally bought into that since just about week 2. And I thought it was interesting.
Thank you. Appreciate the call.
Absolutely a great call. Just last week, the Biden administration accepted a report, and it took all this time for the Biden administration to get a report from what they called intelligence sources, multiple. So like say the CIA and the FBI and NSA, who concluded that it was inconclusive whether or not it came from a bat infecting a person or the Wuhan lab. Now, when coincidences just don't really happen, when you go and look at where this lab is in the middle of nowhere, partly funded by
a large city that has millions of people.
Out on the edge, though. It's not like it's downtown. Like, let's just go to the lab.
But there's a market a block away, and then conveniently, that's the narrative they come up with. Oh crap! What are we going to do here? We leaked this thing to the world. It came from the market.
At least
somebody ate bad stew. That's the story. We're going to go with it. We're going to run with it till it runs out of legs, and the rest of the world will buy it because that's what we'll tell them. And we won't give them access to the lab to investigate it.
If it would have happened in another city, that would have been one thing. But it was no doubt leaked. The only question is, was it intentionally leaked or accidentally leaked? Isn't that the only question that remains to you?
Not to me, because
it was intentionally leaked.
Having read enough about these types of facilities and just how secure they are, the protocol to go in and out of them to ensure that you don't walk out with something stuck to your collar.
Oh, no.
That could wreak havoc on the world, like, coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2. I mean,
this is one of those places where you go in and you're wearing your street clothes and you go to a locker and you go literally naked through a secure airlocked room into a room where you're washed with antiseptic and all that, out into a clean room where you put on the whites with all the proper protection, and then you work. And then as you leave, you drop off your whites, you go back through the secure room, airlocked, and you bathe again and go back and put on your clothes and you leave. There is nothing on you to have a little bit of virus stuck to you.
No, and think about it. Labs like this exist all over the world
for the purpose of finding ways to manipulate viruses.
Janelle Searles asked the same question I've asked forever. My question is why anyone was even working on a virus like this in the first place. I often question that.
To weaponize it.
Why do you do, as referred to, the gain of function testing or experiments? Why would you need to do that? Why would it really? I mean, do we really care?
For this,
if there's a COVID virus in a bat, do we really have to try to manipulate it to see if it can jump to humans? Because once you manipulate it to do that, then in theory, it can do that, right? And now we see how this plays out. Here's why. Because you have a bunch of scientists who are egomaniacs and want to be the first to accomplish something like that. They're not. I'm not buying their
biological warfare.
Well, there's that too. I'm not buying that they're doing this for.
It's not for science.
For knowledge and science. No, it's ego and some of these people are just downright diabolical in their thought process to get to this point. I don't care if they're scientists or not.
I think there's a lab or a facility. I want to say, Andy may know, I want to say that it's in Colorado where they have smallpox virus. They have all these different things stored. They've got them at frozen levels. I don't know why you would create a vaccine to eradicate the world of, let's say, polio.
But keep the polio around?
Keep the polio around. I don't know. Unless back then people thought something could come up and we may need to study it. What's interesting
back then we used live virus for vaccines, right? So maybe you needed a little bit of polio around in case you had to develop the virus again.
Legit point. Now we just put microchips into people. But now the Wuhan lab was created because there were people here in our country, who said, this is going too far. We can't be involved in this type of research. So they went over there and opened a lab, and Dr. Fauci authorized sending them millions of dollars, at least $3 million.
France was involved, I believe.
And they pulled out.
No, I think they were kicked out when they started raising questions and flags about some of the experimentation going on over there, and China said, well, then get the hell out of here.
That's exactly what happened. But the United States, long ago, I peeled back a layer of naivety that allowed me.
Yeah, David Glass is right. I think that I believe there's some truth that the original virus was shipped from a lab in Canada to the Wuhan.
But I long ago peeled back the layer of naivety that allowed me to believe that the United States wasn't involved in this type of stuff. There is nothing.
But we're involved in it. Our government's just not going to release it on the world like the Chinese Communist Party did.
I don't disagree with that. I'm saying, though, but the assassination of leaderships, the beginning of civil unrest, the spying on people at their most, private moments. I mean, the U.S. You just start to see it now with warrants to do so and all that. But we've been doing it for years. J. Edgar Hoover did it for years. It's just.
Kelly Ferrami says, I'm not arguing that they didn't intentionally release the virus, but it also affected their own country. Are they that diabolical that they don't care about their own citizens?
No doubt about it.
Short answer is yes. Care. On the other side of this break, I'll give you the idea, my thoughts as to why it was to their advantage to do so.
Folks, the Atzenhower dealership since 1926 is quite simply Victoria's dealer. That's really all that needs to be said. You want Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, get by today. And mine's doing it as well. Get by today and see the great folks at Atzenhower. Whether you need paint and body work done, you need service on all makes and models. If you need somebody to inspect your vehicle,
oil changes, just your simple routine maintenance.
They can do all that tires. Well. They do a White Trash Services 550-1826. BJ and Scott Nelson and Carl Steffens, that team over there,
they're good.
They are good. Whether you need trash collection in the 7-county contiguous area, or you need a roll-off dumpster in town for a huge project, or you're going to do like Commissioner Ives does and have a cleanup project out in Precinct 4, BJ Nelson will dispatch a roll-off dumpster for your folks to use to clean up an area. So White Trash Services.
550-1826.
Asking you to have a trash-tastic day. Razor IT Solutions.
JP Hull and his gang can help you with all your analytics, your data encryption, securing your data, making sure your website is running as optimally as it can. Anything on the back end for your online front end, that's what Razor IT Solutions does.
There you go. Help you build a brand, help you build a website, tie your website to your Facebook, tie your money collection to your QuickBooks. They can do it all. That little red button that says donate, they can make sure the money gets to where it needs to be. The law offices of Steve Kidder. Tell you what, if you've got a situation where you don't have a will and you want to take the stress off of your family, reach out to Steve Kidder. Steve Kidder can help you with a will, a trust, an adoption, creation of a partnership, dissolution of a partnership. If you want to stay out of court, reach out to Steve Kidder. He can help you negotiate.
If you happen to be heading to court because you're in a mishap, you've made a mistake, Steve Kidder can help you.
Don't make the mistake of trying to represent yourself. Yeah. Only a fool does so. The law offices
or characters in John Grisham books
are there for you, right? And then the Complete 360 family of foods and funds. Get over here to the Health Bar right here on Red River, right behind us. Almost the corner of Red River and the Rent. Right next to Woodlawn Bowl. They've got smoothies. They've got bowls, fruit-based bowls.
Wraps, protein-based waffles.
Amazing waffles that are not fattening. These are gluten-free, oat flour, protein-laden, unbelievable flavor waffles. Every now and then you find something that's good for you that's not a sacrifice. You ever notice how you eat diet ice cream and it's like, bleh?
Yeah.
Well, this is like Bluebell. Get over there. You'll love it. And then on the north side, you got all kinds of supplements.
Cheryl stopped by there Saturday, picked up some healthy snacks and
proteins. Yeah, protein popcorn, things like that. Good stuff.
Yeah, I tried one of her snacks yesterday. It was like a Cheeto, but healthy. And it had a little kick to it. It was good.
Congratulations. Jennifer Rayburn points out Complete won Best Beverage of Taste.
At Taste of Victoria last night.
Fantastic. Best beverage at Taste of Victoria last night. That's fantastic. Brother Gary was there, Yeah, that's my reading. Best beverage of
time
taste.
For glasses.
Already have LASIK. That's like quitting.
So getting back to Kelly's, don't forget what was going on in China about the time that the COVID was released. Lots of upheaval. Lots of pro-democracy and pro-freedom rallies, American flags being waved. That's what was going on in China. And this just happened. None of these things are going on in China anymore. They've basically shut down their internet. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Robert Brown says maybe the escort company leading the Turban Blade can call Steve Kidder. Yeah, no kidding. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. That's probably legit.
I think they're still paying him.
What are your thoughts on that? You think the Chinese just
they're buying it? They're buying all his art at $500,000 a pop.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Appreciate it.
There you have it. Every now and then somebody says what we're thinking, but are too scared to say. Good stuff.
Yeah,
Hunter
sure.
Biden.
I wouldn't. I don't.
Was he patient A? Was he the guy?
No, I don't give Hyder that much credit.
Maybe crack cocaine.
Maybe that's why he acted the way he did, because he was not only got the virus, they gave him the antidote. No, I don't know. I don't give Hyder that much credit, but if anybody's buying his art at $500,000 a pop, it's the
Just
Chinese.
To meet the dad, no doubt.
Because that art ain't worth the paper it's drawn on.
Well, so John Davis says China has even sterilized kids. I don't think that China
they don't
hesitate to let some of their own die.
No, because they've got 1+ billion people there, and they know that they can't support that type of population in perpetuity. That's why they allowed only one kid for so long.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's, and I mean, you look at everything that has gone on over there and the attention that it was drawing from the rest of the world with the oppression of the Uyghurs, with the crackdown on the freedom rallies.
Wasn't that a kid show, the Uyghurs?
Maybe.
John Davis says Hunter took the crack vaccine.
Yeah.
I like it.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, and then they wanted, they wrote about this. This is part of their playbook. They wanted I've said this from the get-go. The Chinese Communist Party is making notes to see how the world reacted to this and how this virus has ebbed, flowed, morphed.
And our own government, I believe, in a very calculated way, used this opportunity. Remember, no good crisis should ever go to waste. Our government used this to see just how willing, just how much of your civil liberties. Hey, if we just say we're going to mandate a mask, will everybody wear a mask? Wait, Joe Biden said, if you're not getting the vaccine, you must go get it. Go get it today. Less than a year earlier, folks, Joe Biden on the campaign trail said, hey, if Trump comes up with a vaccine, you going to take it? You're going to take it? I'm not taking it. But yet, less than a year later, before any had FDA approval, Joe Biden was saying, go get the vaccine. You owe it to your neighbor. You owe it to your neighbor. Yeah. The government is always reaching to see, and it's just their nature. It's like having a pet rattle. It's like having a pet alligator. You can feed it. You can pet it. You can like it. Some days it may lay in the sun and treat you right, but one day it's going to bite your hand off because
it's an alligator.
It's what they do. The government is always systemically reaching for more authority and more power. And our own W. Bush said, hey, let's get some really broad rules that allow us to listen to people's phone calls. And guess what? They listen to your phone call today. And they do it legally. Because
they were just doing it illegally anyway.
Right. They were doing it illegally. They were. But now they do it legally because we got to get the tourists. We got to get the tourists.
We got to go get ISIS-K.
Well, you make no mistake, our own beloved W was just as dirty as the rest of them, and now he's a Democrat.
Have you seen the lack of compassion from the left now? Well, those that don't want to get vaccinated, they should just die. They shouldn't be allowed in our hospitals. We shouldn't treat them.
Can't go to our grocery stores.
We should raise their insurance premiums. These are the things that people on the left are calling for. Yet, ironically, 72% of those with PhDs won't get the vaccine.
Well, they're just trying to unite people, Ash.
Yeah.
But they're trying to unite people under the flag of their authority. They want to unite you because you do exactly what they tell you to do because you told them to do it. And now they say, we're doing it in the name of science. Whereas before they said the science doesn't bear out Trump's vaccine. But now that it's their vaccine,
the science bears it out.
Now that Joe Biden's the guy that vaccinated 1 million people a day, now it's their vaccine. Folks, we are all political pawns. How much do you choose to let the federal government tell you what to do?
Yeah. But that's the one that kind of perusing social media over the weekend, it just kind of shocked me when people started saying, well, you know what? If they don't want to get vaccinated, they can die in the streets. They shouldn't have access to health care. We should raise their premiums.
Oh, that is their position.
Yeah, that's where they're going now.
You can't go to the hospital because you haven't been vaccinated. You're endangering other people. Yeah. Yet there's healthcare workers who are still losing their jobs by refusing to take the vaccine.
Andy Schneider asked, what if the Delta variant was supposed to wipe out all the anti-vaxxers? Keep the sheep on. Yeah, you know what? Starting to get those who are vaccinated too.
Sky Sanchez says, good morning. What a great morning. Sitting here eating my baby's snacks and drinking their juice boxes. There you go.
I guess she doesn't want it to go to waste.
Tell you what, one thing you can still control is your mortgage rate. Right now, reach out to Terry Murray at Motto Mortgage, 541-5454.
If you're paying more than 3.5%, you owe it to yourself to call Terry and see how low that rate can go. Probably under 3. Be like a limbo contest.
How low can you go? Are we going to have a limbo contest on the Lido deck at Club Westerner on October 8th?
We're going to have to. It wouldn't be a rock the yacht party if we didn't.
So many more things have developed over the weekend. Just really have. Yeah. As far as now, the party is getting better. And we like to under promise and over deliver, but you need to make plans. Get your babysitters lined up now.
Is that going to work for one of the decorations?
I think that looks amazing. Good. You need to plan to be at Club Westerner Friday night, October the 8th. Party's like 7:30 to midnight. You can bring your own bottle. They've got setups available at Club Westerner. You can buy beer there, and it's really cold beer.
$10 a ticket.
$10 a ticket to get in, and you just can't go wrong. Live music, a great band that's in.
Might have a couple tables left.
We're going to play some great music. It's going to be a great time celebrating the 5th year.
We were ahead of the curve on this because I'm starting to see other yacht rock the yacht type themes and parties.
It's going to be
start
fun
to kick off. So I'm
glad
really we're ahead of the trend.
It's going to, and here it is. Ash and I decided. Now, I can't tell you that in the future we won't host a party to raise money for some function. We're not opposed to that. You've seen us do as much as we can. But this is simply a party
just for the sake of
to have a party. And it's October the 8th, Friday, October the 8th, 7:30 to midnight at Club Westerner.
Rewind is the name of the band.
They're fantastic. They're coming in from out of the valley. They're going to be great. I think I'm going to try.
Callie Frommie asked, do we dress in theme?
You can. I think it's great.
It's not a costume party, but
it's basically clothing optional. I mean, it's clothing optional. We're all adults. I like the idea of having, I think I'm going to call, and so somebody here in town who does a lot of work that people don't know about is JR Perez. And JR has helped for years coordinate that big food truck event that goes on down in the park. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I'm going to reach out to JR and see if he knows of a couple of food trucks that might want to come to Club Westerner. And that way, folks can walk outside, get a bite to eat. Right? We're not cooking.
No.
Were you going to cook?
No.
Maybe an omelet bar at midnight?
No.
Okay, we're not cooking.
No, we're not cooking.
But we could have a food truck or two. What do you think?
Yeah. Food truck wants to come by and offer up your typical,
street taco fare, that kind of deal. People walk outside. And there you go. While they wait for their Uber. Went Services, folks. Reach out to Carl and Aaron Went. Whether you need generators, which you do if you don't have one, generators, solar panels,
electrical
plumbing, electrical, all that stuff. They do it all. New and remodel.
Industrial, commercial.
John Davis says toga. I think a toga would be very appropriate.
If you want.
Toga on the Lido deck. I wonder what Brother Gary Moses will wear. Maybe he'll wear a tuxedo. Or we'll get him a full-blown captain suit.
Epaulets with the bars.
Captain Stubby. That would be awesome.
Merrill.
I can guarantee you Brother Gary Moses will be at this party.
I will be
You
there.
can write
I
it
will
down.
be there.
USA Concrete Coatings, 578 home. Give Charlie Garcia a call.
He'll come out and he can put a new surface around your pool deck, around a patio, a porch, sidewalk. Might be overkill to do a driveway, but he can do your garage. Go in, seal all the cracks, clean the floor. He'll put down a polyurethane coat that won't peel, crack, stick, fade, nothing. It's awesome.
4 times stronger than epoxy. It'll be good. So looking forward to it.
Now, BJ Nelson,
She's gonna phone it in. The Flyers will be playing out of town.
who's going to sit at your table? BJ?
You got 9 games. You got 9 other games you could go to, BJ.
Come straight in. Just come in straight afterwards, BJ, and I'll get your ticket. I got your ticket. Y'all just come by after the game.
What did I see? Ed Asner passed. Good actor, great actor.
Lou Grant. Isn't most famous as Lou Grant?
I think so.
I think certainly. You'll recall he was Mary Tyler Moore's Mary. What was her name on the show? Mary what?
Mary Hartman?
No. Mary
That was another
Hartman.
show.
Mary Hartman was a little more racy. Mary Richards. And she worked for Ed at the newspaper.
In Minneapolis, wasn't it?
And was always in trouble. But they were
Wow, she threw her hat in the air in the middle of the road. Who does that?
they were always look at that. See, look right there. Sky says corrupt spot. There you go.
Aggie Bama game on Saturday the 9th. Well, it's Saturday. We're the 8th.
Yeah, Saturday. So what you do is you come in, you go to our party, you sleep all day Saturday, and then you get up and watch Aggies and Bama. I got a prediction on that one. I got Bama by about 3 scores. What do you think, Ash?
Yeah, 3 might be a stretch, but
So
I think 10 points easy.
Well, I'm jaded.
I don't think it'll be close.
I'm jaded. The team
Aggies might score late to make it look closer.
I'd love for the Aggies to win that game. I would love for the Aggies to win that game, but here's my deal. Look at the Cowboys yesterday playing a team that's admittedly rebuilding with a first-year coach who comes out of the broadcasting booth after being a college coach and literally calls the dogs off and beats the Cowboys like what, 34-14 or 17? I quit watching it.
Trevor Lawrence, 11 for 12.
What was it? 34-14 was
Did
the
he
final,
really?
right?
11 for 12. 2 touchdowns.
Trevor Lawrence, come here, brother, man. He's got the stats. He's a statistician.
Is it Thursday already?
No, but it's a bonus Monday when the brother man comes in with moments to spare.
Well, we're here.
Trevor Lawrence.
11 for 12, 2 touchdown passes.
And you know what? Here's the problem. The NFL critics are going, well, that's no big deal. It's the Cowboys secondary. That's what people are saying. And then you got the Astros yesterday lose by a touchdown and a field goal to the Rangers, who are terrible. I never saw anybody batting for the Rangers that had over a 250 average.
265, I think, was
Yeah.
the highest in the starting lineup yesterday.
And here they are,
Their September call-up started in August in Arlington.
and they're just strumming the Astros.
It's a bad day.
Yeah, that's the great thing about baseball is you play so many games you can have a bad day. We've now got the Astros pegged at maybe 6-11. Now, I mean the Cowboys now we'll say 7-10 now.
We get closer. We'll look at it a little closer.
Steve Kidder says he made a bet last night. Texans will win a game this season before Dallas does.
It's probably a safe bet.
Steve Kidder was at Taste of the Town last night.
He is, and he's very, very.
Oh,
He's a get about guy. Scott Tompkins says the race to last place.
We got to do better. We're going to do better.
Cowboys play the Buccaneers Thursday to kick off the NFL season.
Like in 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
No, not this
Next Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's no problem.
That's a
Buccaneers-
loss,
Buccaneers are terrible.
aren't they, though?
Well, they're favored. You know that.
Yeah, that'll be a loss.
Crazy. Oh yeah, they'll lose. Who do the Texans play?
The Texans play the Jaguars at home. And Texans have struggled historically against Jacksonville.
Back to the Brunel days.
Yeah.
Lawrence is picked to be the
Byron Leftwich, wasn't he there too at one point?
rookie of the year.
Who is?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think that's
What do
too
you
much
think?
for him.
So I had somebody tell me, and it might have been Ash.
I mean, he
They're
might.
going to rush him along. It's a little scary.
He started.
Yeah, it's a little.
They
scary.
traded Gardner Minshew to the Eagles. Here's what I don't understand. Looking at how bad Gilbert was yesterday for the Cowboys,
Oh,
How do you not get a guy who was a pretty serviceable starting quarterback for Jacksonville, last year, 2 years ago, and then he got hurt and they didn't put him back in. I don't know what exactly went on, fell out of favor in Jacksonville. But here's a guy who was I think 6th-round pick out of Washington State, and I'm not just trumping him up because he's a Coug, but he played on a pretty bad Jacksonville team and did all right. The Cowboys have no legitimate backup behind Dak Prescott.
True story.
Dak didn't play. The Eagles get him for a 6th-round pick. The Cowboys couldn't have given up a 5th-round pick to get him.
Should have kept the red rifle. Should have kept the red rifle for.
Well, they weren't going to pay the red rifle $10 million or whatever.
Should have kept him.
Serviceable.
But we've got nobody in the wings, and now they're saying, "Well, we're hoping." I mean, this is what worries me. We're hoping Dak's ready for the first week. He's got 2 weeks or 10 days, 11 days or whatever.
Snap
but
it. You put Pollard on one side and you put Zeke on the other side. You just snap it to one of them and go.
Well, they're going to have to run it.
That's what.
But it worries me when you're still almost 2 weeks out and you're just hoping that you can have your starting quarterback ready.
Yep. Talking about getting ready. The brother man, I hear him in there going me, loosening up the golden throat. The Hall of Famer Ralph Salazar coming in hot right on the heels of Brother Gary. We appreciate you guys listening to us. Tune in tomorrow. We need you to pull us through a Tuesday. It's a slow news Tuesday.
I'm sure we'll have more out of New Orleans and Southern Louisiana.